Hi everyone, a very good morning. First of all, we wish you a happy International E-Waste Day. This has come really a long way since its inception by WEEE Forum and is now a global celebration. In India, as of today, even Ministry of Environment is hosting a webinar, which is running at the same time. We were unaware of class, but it has been a very, very interesting journey of how, something which was initiated by WEEE Forum several years back has become a global phenomena and is finally picking up steam. So a very, very warm welcome to the speakers, to the panelists here today. I have Lucía from WEEE Forum, who is with us. Let me broadly introduce Lucía. Lucía works for the WEEE Forum as technical director, and she is currently the deputy director of the association. WEEE Forum is an international association of e-waste PROs counting 52 associate members. The non-profit association based in Brussels has been promoting circular economy since 2002 and is helping its members share ideas and knowledge to achieve excellence in their activities. The WEEE Forum has participated and participates in key projects such as WEEE Labex and countering WEEE illegal trade, and actively contributes to the international debate on the management of WEEE. So I would really like to, thank Lucía for her participation today. Just
thank you.
In this, I hear some noise somewhere. Just putting it on. Yeah.
Please. Okay.
Yeah, Lucía, a very warm welcome to you. And we would like to hear a lot about International E-Waste Day, a bit of history. And, you have a very, very interesting theme today, which is on join the e-waste hunt, retrieve, recycle, and revive, with a very specific focus on very tiny items, which have now included our lives, but are kind of invisible to all of us. So over to you, Lucía.
Thank you very much, Pranshu, and thank you for inviting us to celebrate this with you today, the International E-Waste Day. So we are very happy to be with all of you today. So yeah, I would like to start telling you a bit more about the International E-Waste Day. So I had kindly our communications department prepared this presentation for all of you, so I could explain in more detail what the International E-Waste Day is. So it's basically, it was created as an excuse to talk about the e-waste problematic at least once a year. So it's a moment for really thinking about where we are, what we can do, what we've done, but especially to motivate people and raise awareness about the issue. So we put things in motion again. So this is the 7th edition, and so we are very, very proud to see that every edition has been better than the past one. Last year, over 190 companies joined officially by registering to the website of the WEEE Forum, and that means that there were hundreds of communication activities that took place around the globe during the week of the 14th of October. So it's not really one day, it's something that it extends to the whole week or sometimes even the week before. So we are not so strict, we give flexibility to find the best moment to raise these kind of activities during the days around the 14th of October. So some of the most outstanding, or the ones which we are prouder, are activities like, for example, a press campaign with over 2 billion of potential reach in total in last year. And well, there were some pickups from BBC, Bloomberg, Sky News, and many other national and international media outlets that also included TV and radio. So I would like to explain a bit why there is this International E-Waste Day with some metrics of the issue. And you're probably all aware of the Global E-Waste Monitor that was released by the United Nations this year. So all these statistics are really very, very illustrative of the situation. So, for example, the Global E-Waste Monitor estimated that 62 billion kilos of e-waste were generated 2 years ago globally in 2020. So this means 29 kilos for each household on the planet. It also estimated that it's one of the fastest growing e-waste streams in the world. As an example, they were estimating that by 2030 there will be 82 billion kilos of e-waste generated. That means a 32% increase compared to 2022, which is growing really, really fast. So currently, they estimated that waste, this type of waste is growing 5 times faster than it's being collected, which is really a lot. And we should give special attention to small items, like you were saying, Pranshu. Well, this study again estimated that 1/3 of the world's e-waste is made up of small items, like, for example, toys, remote controls, or electronic cigarettes, which is something that is appearing in the news quite often in the past 2-3 years. So the e-waste monitor again estimated that only 12% of these items are being properly collected and recycled and monitored. So maybe to give a bit more clarity to this issue of small items and waste that is not being properly collected and recycled, I would like to explain a bit that based on previous studies, we managed to identify some common flows, what we call the complementary flows, which are flows that are not officially reported. It means that they don't appear on official statistics. It means that we know that these flows are happening, and they are difficult to estimate, of course, but we can identify them almost in all countries around the world. So we managed to identify some commonalities in all these streams, like, for example, waste that is being exported, e-waste that is being collected together with a scrap. Hence, it's following the flows of and the paths of scrap metal. So it's not being reported as e-waste. And this includes parts of WEEE that are valuable and are removed from items before they are officially collected and treated, like, for example, the compressors of refrigerators. And then, especially for small items, we managed to identify small e-waste that we often keep at home that may be working or not, and we don't use it, of course. Sometimes we simply keep it at home, other times we pass on to friends, family. And also, especially for small items, we could identify a flow of wrongly disposed e-waste that usually ends up with municipal waste in landfills or being incinerated. And this is why last year we were focusing on invisible e-waste, and I thought it was interesting to mention this today, because it's really very, very tied with today's e-waste hunt. And so the invisible e-waste are items of electronic waste that are unnoticed because they don't really look like, or we may not think that they are e-waste, like, for example, tools or toys or watches or even e-vapes. And it was estimated that it could be as much as 9 million tons per annum that we keep at home or we dispose with ordinary waste. A good example of these are, for example, electronic cigarettes. So Unitar and Material Focus estimated around 844 million vapes were thrown away globally in 2022, and they contain lithium from the batteries that could power, for example, 15,000 electric cars. Not to mention that because they are being wrongly disposed and because of the content of lithium batteries, they are now creating a problem with fires in different points of the value chain. So tying very, very closely with this item, the theme of this year, as you were mentioning, Pranshu, is to join the e-waste hunt. So we are inviting all citizens to look into the drawers at home and see these little items that they keep that they don't use. Sometimes they don't even work, and to just declutter everything and dispose of it properly. So one example of what we usually keep at home are mobile phones. Again, some statistics to illustrate this from the Global E-Waste Monitor say that, well, globally, there are 108 mobile phone subscriptions per 100 people. So European households contain approximately 700 million of unused or non-functioning mobile phones, which is a lot. So maybe now moving on a bit onto the policy and what we can do as WEEE Forum, as extended producer responsibility organizations, but also as part of government enforcement and so on. So the first part of all of this is to empower citizens by teaching them what they can do and what they should do. So the first point, and this is why we are also organizing the International E-Waste Day, is to raise awareness so citizens know why they should dispose correctly of the waste, why they shouldn't keep it at home, what they should do, where they should bring this stuff, what's the closest point. That's probably they can. There are other options like reuse or preparing for reuse or donation of items that still work. Another important point is to improve the collection network, is to make things convenient for citizens. And sometimes there are collection points, but people don't know about them. So which is very obvious, you know. So we often say, make sure that your collection network is visible. There are some good tools now that people could use, like most of our members have built apps. That's where people can check quickly on the phone where their closest collection point is. Or even now in Google Maps, you can indicate in your business profile if you collect e-waste or other types of waste. So citizens are also aware of that when typing in Google Maps, okay, recycling e-waste near me. Another very, very relevant point is to involve all actors that can make a difference, that can take action to improve collection rates in the country. And this is what we call the all actors approach. So it's important that all entities, actors, not only citizens, but also, for example, repair organizations, scrap dealers, and so on, that are usually not thinking that they have a responsibility or that they cannot take an action or they are not to contribute to collection rates in the country. Just by having access to this waste, it's important that they realize their role in all this and they collaborate in the collection of e-waste. Another very, very relevant point is enforcement. And we've been saying this for years. Usually there are not enough means in enforcement bodies to get properly trained to understand the issues around illicit routes and illicit actors. So it's very important to work together with them so they are properly trained and they have enough resources to take action that really makes an impact. And it's not only enforcement about, you know, identifying producers that are not meeting their their extended producer responsibility obligations, but also focus on non-reported routes like the complementary flows I was talking about, or about illicit treatment that is really leveling the playing field in practically all countries. And finally, one recommendation is to study, to learn about the current situation, but collecting data about the different waste routes in the country, the volumes that we are talking about, and the different actors that can really make a difference. So these are very, very, let's say, brief and very short recommendations that we have identified in all the experience in 20-something years that we've been working on this, that we know work, and that can really make a difference in improving the situation. So just to start concluding my presentation today, I would like to invite all of you and also to extend the invitation to other organizations that you know may want to contribute, is to participate in the e-waste day this year by registering to the WEEE Forum site. So it's just, if you just go to the WEEE Forum site, you will see International e-waste Day, join. It's not too late to register, as I said. There will be activities during the whole week. And upon registration, you will receive a communications kit with some nice diagrams, like some of the ones I was just showing a minute ago in my presentation. This is not only a WEEE Forum closed event, it's where we really want the whole world to join and to keep things in motion. From the side of the WEEE Forum, we will be running a global press campaign. We will be showing videos where people explain why they recycle. We will show these infographics and animations, and keep on with a social media campaign. And there is some background noise. And there is also a social media competition. So this is not only for companies and business, it's also for citizens, to contribute with your families. So feel free to join the social media competition. And even the smaller communication matters. So it can be, for example, just posting something on the social media, or you can go farther than that, like organizing events like this one today, or posting things, or participating in radio appearances, art performances. We have seen a very nice variety of different activities from all participants. So anything that is raising awareness about the e-waste issue is really, really welcome today. So you will also gain visibility for your actions, which is very important. And so once again, we invite you to register through the website of the WEEE Forum. And that was all from my side, Pranshu. I hope I managed to encourage you and really put things in motion with my presentation.
Thank you, Lucia. This was. It's always good to have, especially on International e-waste Day, to get started with WEEE Forum. Primarily because you came up with the concept, 7 years back. I remember discussing the very first event. We were just set up in that year, so it's really, really good to. Well, to write down their questions, but to start with, Lucia, a few things. We are seeing this advent of very small electronic products, and they just keep on growing because of convergence, because of ease. Just far too many. From chargers, tiny cables, USBs, vapes nowadays, toys of all varieties, even wearable electronics, in your clothing, in your shoes, brushes, remotes, smartwatches. I mean, one can keep on naming, and this list is growing. One of the biggest nightmares that we are starting to see is the recyclability of these products. Like large devices, especially in emerging markets, we had a great opportunity because of the low labor cost to dismantle these products and do material extraction to the widest extent possible. But with these small devices, it becomes a nightmare because they can't even be opened. I mean, the design is such or even if it's, I don't think it's a matter of design, they are just so small that the amount of time versus materials ratio is very, very odd. So are you seeing this also as a, how do you even recycle these products? I mean, just sending it to a shredder pressure, we are losing far too many materials because most of them do contain lithium-ion batteries. So they need to be ideally be dismantled. Then majority of them would have some tiny magnets like headphones, almost impossible to retrieve. So how do we even manage this? Is this also a big question which is being which is coming up at the commission level now?
Well, in Europe, at European Commission, they are looking at it. I would say that they are looking first at let's say the first problem is to get it collected. So yeah. I would say that now there have been some actions from the European Commission to focus on smaller items, mostly because they're very low collection rates, and secondly because they're content in critical raw materials. Yeah. So the Commission has, for example, published this year some recommendations to improve the collection of smaller items. And they have also financed some projects, like, for example, we are involved in the 𝐃𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐿 project, which is financed with public money from Europe, where we are piloting different collection initiatives that are using different types of incentives. So we are evaluating which incentives work best with people. So the Commission is now looking, I would say, at the first part of the problem, which is collecting more. And they would like to identify these incentives that could be integrated into future legislation. So they are investigating, for example, buyback, convenience, so improving the convenience for actors, or even deposit return system. So we are investigating everything in this project. But indeed, I agree with you. It's difficult to when
I like to share the targets. A small point. In India, for example, we have initiated a project with the under Department of Science and Technology. And it is focused on recovery of small magnets which are present in headphones and hard drives. And it is just so damn difficult to even retrieve, and forget recycling. They are so small magnets right now that it's really difficult to figure it out. But thank you. Still, I think it's a fairly complex problem. We solve one thing and then something else emerges. So. But really good to have you. If you are able to stay, we would love, there may be more questions which may come up. But if you have to go, I understand today is a very important day, a lot of global activities. Thank you, Lucia.
Thank you for inviting me.
Sure. So I'd like to now invite our panelists for the next session. I'm delighted to invite Mr. N. Vijai, who is the member secretary of the Rajasthan Pollution Control Board. We have had multiple interactions. It's always a delight to have him. He joined the Pollution Control Board, member secretary in 2023. Over his career, he has taken very important roles, including assistant conservator of forests in Ranthambore Tiger Reserve, and many other very important positions. He is also the chief conservator of forests Jaipur and Ajmer Circle. Sir, as I said, it's always a delight to have you, and we'll really like to hear from you. Then I'd like to also introduce Mr. Ankit Agrahari. He's from UNDP India. He's a program specialist there, and especially focusing on Montreal Protocol, chemical and waste as a focus area. He has over 11 years of experience in environmental policy. And we are most importantly looking, Ankit, to hear from you about the new project that UNDP is starting along with the government of India, which is largely focused on POPs, which again have a huge presence in electronic waste via plastics. So very warm welcome to you. And then I'd like to welcome Mr. Saurabh Sood from Shimla. He is the president of Rotary Club, has been an extremely strong supporter in organizing collection systems in Shimla along with the municipality. Holds a bachelor's in mechanical engineering, in journalism and mass communication, and a master's degree in public administration, psychology, and finance. So, Saurabh, we would really love to hear from you. How do we work? And how do grassroots movements like Rotary enable these collection systems? Unfortunately, collection systems are not finding a mention in the new e-waste rules. But nonetheless, all of us find the deep importance of collection systems, because if we are unable to engage and inspire people, and if we are unable to provide them deep convenience, because अगर आसान नहीं होगा तो लोग participate नहीं करेंगे. So convenience is super, super important. And with convenience comes trust. So organizations like UNDP, like pollution control boards, like Rotary, cohesively, they bring in that trust of participation in such systems. So a very, very warm welcome to you. I'll also like to mention that this webinar has been made possible because of financial support from Dell, Apple, Canon, and Cisco. All these 4 companies have been our huge sponsors for running webinars. This is the 3rd series of webinars. Every year we do 8 webinars focusing on different aspects of circularity. So with this, I would love to invite Mr. Vijay to share his dialogue. And sir, I understand you also have a presentation, so please feel free to share.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Pranshu, for the nice introduction. And it's indeed a great pleasure for me to part of this event. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
And looking at the theme of this year, the join the e-waste hunt, retrieve, recycle, and revive. It underscores something about the hunting, like which means something is hiding as a treasure. It could be in the public or it could be in somewhere. So we need to look at the process as a very not that simple. Because hunting require a lot of efforts. I am looking from the forest officer's point of view. So because the theme itself is saying about the e-waste hunt. So it's a very aptly the theme was kept this year as the e-waste hunt. I was looking at the figure of the total e-waste production. It's the per capita is around 8 kilo per capita, and the total production is about 61.3 million tons. And I think they were comparing with the weight of the China Great Wall. It is much higher than the weight of China Great Wall. Yeah. So we can understand the quantum of these e-waste producing from the different sources, not only from our country, but the entire world. And I would like to reiterate the country's efforts, especially the NITI Aayog in the circular economy, because there are 8 important themes which are part of the Government of India's program. And one of the important themes about the circular economy, I am happy to announce that in the last month, August end, there was a national level conference kept on this circular economy. And every state of the country came up with one kind of waste and giving solutions and giving the better practice of what they are doing in their state. And almost all the states gave it some kind of the solutions. So, and further, even our state, Rajasthan, we have conducted further 2 workshops in our state, only for the specifically for our state. And again, in the month of November, I think the Prime Minister is going to take a complete meeting with every chief secretary. So you can look at the significance of circular economy. Now, circular economy, you can say it is a center stage. So no longer you can ignore the importance of circular economy, because earlier we were talking only about simply about the recycle. But it is not a very simple recycle alone, because we need to go a long way and we have to understand the concept very well. And we need a very continuous efforts. It's not that some waste metal we are getting and we need to use it, or we can like simply throw certain metal can be discarded. So the looking at the concept of circular economy, because nothing should be go as a waste. So initially, the recycle were only about recycle, refurbishing. We are and bits and pieces we were looking the principle, but now the concept is very, very clear, circular economy, and the ultimate aim is to prevent the extraction of resources. What are the metal we are already created, our effort should be able to reuse it in a proper way so that the things can be moved in a circular way. By that only, I think the future generation can be very well protect, their interest can be very well protected by that. So with this background, I think I would like to show the small presentation I made for that. If you allow, I think I can.
Sure, sir.
I already shared with that. Yeah, it's about the overview only, not to educate anyone, because I think people are quite technically well here. Yeah. Please, next slide. We all know that the kind of because the initially, if you look at the most of the people will believe that this is the
So your voice is breaking up. We'll just wait for a minute for the MS to join back.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Please continue.
Yeah, some connectivity issue. Sorry, apologies for
No
that.
worries.
Yeah. So this is how, if properly even e-waste are not discarded, then situation will be like this only. And again, the hazardous material, if it is not properly treated, it can be a part of a very important issue. It can create a lot of diseases also. I think no need to explain that. So it simply like any municipal solid waste or any sort of waste. And significance of the circular economy, I mentioned about that, and there are certain that the consumption pattern of the entire globe, which has risen because maybe due to the globalization and liberalization, the consumption pattern has raised to the greatest extent. And compared to the past, now it is increased to 65%. So if you still follow that, if you are still follow the linear economy, what we are following, the present trend, going by the present trend, we may require another 3 planets by the year 2050. So you can just imagine about the quantum of metal we are extracting and quantum of or the kind of pressure we are exerting to our globe. So through the circular economy approach only we can save the resource material, and also not only it is about the reducing pressure of resources, so help in mitigating the different kind of the climate changes. So there are 4 important elements. We look at the cement, steel, plastics, and aluminum. Even if you rotate these, even you are able to get something from these 4 material, and again these materials are put in the circular mechanism, then this only can save about 40% of greenhouse gases. It can reduce the greenhouse gases emission even by 40%. Even if you are taking 4 of this material, we have so many other material we are using the globe, but if you look at only these 4 materials, which are the potential to reduce the greenhouse gases by 40%. And another significant that, because the employment opportunities also we have to look at when you are looking at the circular economy, one of the important benefits from this entire process about the creation of employment opportunities. So if you adopt this recycle, repair, and refurbishing, according to the International Labour Organization, it can be able to create a job opportunities of 6 million by the year 2030. Yeah, please next slide. Next slide, please.
Yes, sir, it's here.
Yeah, please change it. slide is not changing, please. Yeah. And coming back to the different kind of legislation, what the framework we are having, and I think every one of you must aware. Just back to that. Yeah. Circular economy and sustainable development. I mentioned about the different significance of adoption of the circular economy. I think first one is about the resource conservation. I told about the consumption pattern, how we can reduce the consumption, how we can conserve the material, and the economic opportunities also. It is like there are so many elements. I think if you look at the kind of material we are recovering, there are 60 elements from the periodic table. So it could be the game changer, and it could be some new market also can be developed. It's not like that. Suppose we are recovering metal from some computers or some laptop, which means only for again reuse in the computer laptop. It could be some other options also. So this could be one important option, or the one important benefit of the circular economy is about the economic opportunity also. And recycling, refurbishment, repairing and recovery. So not only we are extending the life of any material, any product, and valuable material. Not only we are recovering one or two elements, but some studies say, even if you look at the certain studies, 60 elements of periodic table can be recovered if you properly adopting this circular economy. And as I mentioned, that environmental stability, how greenhouse emissions can be reduced by even you conserve the 4 important material as an example I put there. Yeah, next. Next, please. These are the legal framework by which the PCBs and everyone, recycler, everyone is working that. And in our country, we have 3 important acts as per our environmental purview. Water Act, Air Act, and yeah. Slide is missing, please. Yeah. And all sort of waste, because the Environmental Protection Act not only giving the guidelines or procedure for treating or disposing of different kind of waste, not only about the e-waste, but any hazardous waste, biomedical waste, plastic waste, it deals with any kind of waste. So EP Act is a very, very significant one if you look at the waste management point of view. And the background of 1986 EP Act, it started or emanating from the United Nations Environment Program in 1972. Based on that only, the EP Act started coming to our country, and which is playing a very key role in various things, but especially in different waste management. And hazardous waste, plastic waste, biomedical waste, e-waste, all type of waste are dealt by this Environmental Protection Act and followed by its rules. Yeah, next slide. I no need to explain about e-waste. So generally people have the misconception about the electronic waste. E-waste means only about we are dealing about the electronic waste, means laptop, computers, and your mobiles only. But sometimes we have to create awareness about even it includes also about the electrical waste, even your solar, even your refrigerator, washing machine, which are part of that. Because many times I interacted with the people have a lot of misconception about the e-waste. E means generally we think about only about the electronic one. So we need to like create proper awareness to the public also about what it exactly mean about. Yeah, next. Again, it is the whole classification of the e-waste, electrical and electronic, and its different components. Yeah, next. Again, yeah, next. And we know the different causes of the generation also, and generally the concept we are looking at about the end of life, but sometimes due to the technical fault or maybe due to the lack of technology intervention, repairing mechanism, and maybe lack of any senders also, many times these e-waste are created. And other than that, people sometimes throw the material without even know its awareness also, know its significant, know its other options also. So these are the different reasons by which the e-waste are generally created. Yeah, next. And initially I mentioned about the quantum of material, like the individually a person how much generating per year, and the whole globe, how much we are generating, and looking at the figure which is expected in the 2030, which is very alarming. And this is time for us to adopt certain good practices and properly understand the concept of circular economy. Then only there will be a stands in the third, and China, US, and followed by India. We are standing third, and in the future also it is expected. We expect to generate more. Yeah, next. So we deal different kind of waste. Even if you take the pollution boards, the purview or its boundaries, a lot of waste we are dealing: hazardous waste, plastic waste, municipal solid waste, plastic. Well, so many waste we are dealing with that. When compared to all the other waste, the e-waste is very quite complex, and it doesn't. You cannot sometimes compare with other kind of waste, where generally e-waste generally people try to keep inside, but unlike other waste, people try to take out and throw somewhere. So the basic or the major contrasting between the e-waste and other waste is that other waste you cannot keep inside. The e-waste generally, unless it is people are very confident enough to dispose this material, if they get some good prices and all, it is expected that these materials are going to lie in someone's house or some storage material. So that is why even the concept or theme this time they kept it as a hand, which is mean to I am linking with that only. It's a very, very complex process, and recycling and reforming all require a very, very technological intervention also here, and very, very valuable material, gold, and there are different, as per the government of India, the classification also very, very significant. The cadmium, so many valuable materials are there. Unlike other thing which require a lot of efforts, but the recovery price or the final one, what the reseller getting may be relatively low. But here, the possibility of getting the higher prices are very, very positive. Next. And these are the, everyone know that the common benefits one can get from the recycling. And even though it's not it not falls into the hazardous material, but if it is simply thrown as a landfill, then there is always a possibility that over the period, the material can be leached, and it can affect, it can create different kind of pollution. It can affect the water also. And as incineration, by simply sometimes people even to extract the even simple wire, generally they adopt the simple incineration only, which can create obviously the greenhouse emission. And by using that, by adopting this, we are reselling that, we are able to save a lot of materials and precious material. Like I told about the gold, silver, copper, bauxite, all can be if it is properly extracted, it can be reused also. So a lot of significant benefits one can get from the recycling of this e-waste. Yeah, next. And everyone know that this is about the circular economy, and simple principles doesn't work in case of e-waste management, because if at all the circular economy has to be achieved, then each one of these steps has to be properly followed. Then collection, then segregation, even testing and data destruction. See, sometimes people, the common public, always question about whether my data is safe or not, whether it is properly, what is the guarantee that all the stored material in the laptop or mobiles are erased. So these are all very challenging thing. Unless the people have developed some kind of credibility or the confidence over the system, we are in the, I would say it's in the nascent stage only. Then weighing, documentation and dismantling, storage, mechanical pre-process, metal recovery, because even a small mistake can destroy your recoverable material, and it can affect the economical value of your product also. So a lot of science and a lot of technology interventions are more required to make the process the completely circular one, and so that the recovery percentage is also very, very high. Yeah, next. So I would like to give a very small brief about the Rajasthan e-waste statistics here, and we have a e-waste management policy in the year 2023, and which is in line with the EPR rules and launched in the year 2023. And we have a committee also at the state level, and Additional Chief Secretary Environment Forest is the chairperson, and Member Secretary RSPCB is the Member Secretary of this committee. And we are going to have the first meeting of this committee in the next week only, and we will come up with, I think, a good solution about the existing challenges what we are facing in the state, and how for the friendly approach for the even the public also will come up in the due course of time. And in the state, we have 22 e-waste processing units functioning in different areas, mainly in Alwar, Bhiwadi, Jaipur. And looking at the figure of 22-23, around 31,000 ton e-waste processed, and 29,000 approximately metric ton recovered from the year 22-23. Next. And these are the various rules. I think most of you aware about the existing rules as part of the Environmental Protection Act. Next. And challenges, I think everyone must know. I think most of the recycler and I think the agencies like Karo, Sambhav, all must be understanding it very well. And sometimes we also interact with the different agencies who are basically looking for our creation of collection center, or who are more interested in about the taking the informal sector into the formal sector. So I think every citizen in the country who has a lot of conservation or the conservative approach about sharing or selling his material because of the known reasons, the data, that could be the data protection, this could be the one thing, and the proper price, what is expected. Even the material we could be like purchased from 1 lakh, and every citizen must be expecting that even after a year, even few years also we expect a good price there. So these are still some kind of skepticism associated with even the approach of the common citizen also. So that are the very big challenges. That's why the majority of the e-waste still lying in the informal sector due to this only. And rudimentary or non-professional approach, sometimes the acid bathing taking place to recover the material, like I mentioned, that open burning, incineration in the along with the municipal solid waste also happen. People burn and recover the wires and all. So still these are the challenging one. Only the professional agencies which deal in a proper way. Otherwise, still these are dealt in a very, very rudimentary or the non-professional way. And e-waste recycle do not properly recycle waste. This is again part of the second point only. And the collection from the ordinary customers, still it is an unrealistic one. Many agencies and every urban area, every city, they have their own models. If you look at the Indore, they have a different model. If you look at Delhi, they have a different model. So every place they have their own model. And I think I understand that till the last citizen of the country realizes that this is the maximum price I can get from that, and my data is safe. I think that is the day you can expect that all the hidden, the treasure in every home will come out, and that will be the important day for this e-waste management. And lack of awareness, of course, we need to do in a very longer way, because and technological impediments again poses a big challenge in disposing the e-waste. Yeah, next. Certain activities are the initiatives taken by the RSPCB at the state level also. And the last year we conducted a certain drive. We could able to collect e-waste from different. We involved various institutes and from the students and the organization. We could able to retrieve so much material. And on the eve of the Environment Day, we did that drive, and it gave very good participation from the public, and we got a good appreciation from the public also. And we are planning in the coming years again this. And all these places we did that, especially in Jaipur, Kota, Udaipur, the urban areas where there is a maximum circulation of this material. So we did that. And again, some of you must aware about the integrated resource recovery path, even though it is for the one-stop solution for all kind of waste. Not only it is for the e-waste, for different kind of waste can be taken here. It is the initiative of RSPCB only. It is the brainchild of Pollution Control Board only. So it is coming up very well. I think so far around 8 to 10 units are sold and developed by RICO, Rajasthan Industrial Corporation, and hopefully all the units will be in once it come up well, all the waste which is generated from the state will be properly disposed, and we will, I think, on some point at time we are want to see it as a one-stop solution for all kind of waste of the state. Yeah. Next. This is about the brief about the integrated resource recovery park, which is established close to Jaipur, some 50 kilometers from Jaipur only. One-stop solution for all types of waste, and developed near Jammu Ramgarh, Jaipur. And what we expect that this would promote recycling and reuse of waste among the units. And it is not only simply a recovery park to provide solution, but again training center will be there, some consultation center will be there. So even a person or the public whoever come there, he will also get some solution. So this park is the combination of different kind of objectives. The units will do their process, recover their material, they will do their business as usual, and the public also they will get some kind of consultation, any kind of solution, any kind of queries, all will be dealt here. So if you look at the elaborative objective of this IRRP, it is going a very long way to fulfill the different kind of problems associated with the waste management. Yeah, next. And we also did a small inventarization study of e-waste in 5 important cities, especially Ajmer, Jaipur, Jodhpur, Kota, and Udaipur. And we involved Environment Protection Training and Research Institute of Hyderabad for this study. And we released this study also. And the final report was submitted on 23/9/22. And based on this study also, we came to know about the pattern of this e-waste and how it was generated. So I think the future decision and all, and I mentioned about the next week we are going to have this e-waste management state level committee. We will place the study in this committee also. And some of the important solutions are the outcome we are going to take in the next meeting. It will be guided by this study also. Yeah. Next.
Sir, can I request you to please, there are a couple of more speakers who would like to join in now.
Yeah, please. I have only 2-3 slides only. I think I'm going to complete if you are.
Sure.
Yeah. And solar PV waste, I think everyone know that this is also part of e-waste only. And I'm happy to mention here that the 29th August, that national level conference, every state was given a different kind of waste. For Rajasthan, we gave solar waste. Because as you know that Rajasthan is a major producer of the solar waste. So I have given the presentation about solar waste only. And the potential, the solar waste we are going to get from in the coming year, I think it is enormous. I think certain projection based on certain studies, we are saying that in the year 2047, nearly $450 trillion we are going to get from the entire country. And the Rajasthan contribution would be nearly $80 trillion, $80 million a year. So this is going to be a very significant part of this entire e-waste. And these are the different parts of solar waste. Yeah, next. This is the data from different states. Rajasthan is the leading state in the solar energy. And so obviously the waste is also expected to be very, very high. And this is expected waste from the year 2030 and again 2047 also here. Next. So the presently, because even though it started in the year 1992, but it got momentum from the year 19 only. And so the waste we are going to get maybe from the coming years, from 30, 35, maybe from 40, and what we are going to get the maximum waste from this sector. And we also propose for a similar integrated resource recovery park in the city Jodhpur, because majority of these solar parks are available in Bikaner, Jodhpur, Jaisalmer, and Badmer. So if a similar IRRP is coming up in Jodhpur, it can be a important solution for disposing or dealing the waste expected from this solar waste. And in the consent mechanism, we are keeping it in the orange category. And in Rajasthan, we have only assembling units presently. And there is also scope for refurbishing. So employment opportunity is expected from the sector regarding refurbishment also. Next. So this is the composition, the 50% from the glass and all other important elements from this solar waste. Next. This is last slide. I think the way forward is about we are going to implement the e-waste policy of 2023, and slowly and gradually I think we will get some momentum. And creation of ecosystem, I think most of you are working for that only. That is very, very important. And not only the private sector and the government sectors and the private units also should be part of that ecosystem. So that, and our main objective is to bring all the informal into formal sector, so that all the EPR mechanism can be without any difficulty we can follow it. And citizen friendly model, most of the things, most of the urban areas, they started doing that. And I hope we are also going to successfully launch such citizen friendly models in our state also. And effective implementation of EPR, that is again an important step in this e-waste sector. And promotion of private players. I think when you talk about this creation of collection centers and all, the private players play a very, very important play. Sometimes the government agency have the limitation in doing such facilitation process. So private players can play important role in such awareness drive. I think it to remove e-waste in the October 14th. Throughout the year, we have to adapt and follow and awareness for the public, because this waste is expected each and every day and every moment. And the government agency is important and a role model. Throughout the year or every year, they should dispose of their e-waste material, and they should play important role model, so that the public and other private agencies will also come forward to dispose their e-waste in a very dedicated and in a proper way. The presentation is from my side, and it's a win-win situation for.
So thank you, sir.
This e-waste is lying somewhere in situation. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So thank you for giving a very, very broad and very deep view of what is happening at a state level. I would like to, bring in other panelists, Ankit, first. Ankit, UNDP has started a very, very interesting program along with Government of India, which aims at solving especially the POPs problem. This is again, becoming a huge, huge challenge, because e-waste plastics today are not getting treated. Along with GIZ, we are also starting a new, very dedicated project on how do we manage this. But would really love to hear from you on how do you see this, and especially think of the context of today's International E-Waste Day theme, and how do you think we can look at something like this, considering the project that you are just starting. Over to you, Ankit.
Yeah. Thanks, Pranshu, and thanks, Karo Sambhav team, for giving me the opportunity to represent UNDP and also to speak about our new initiative on the this e-waste program, and which basically the focus is on the accelerating the transition to a circular economy across the life cycle of the electrical and electronics equipment sector through sustainable integrated approaches, and which also has a key initiative on the reduce the adverse impact of persistent organic pollutants and UPOPs, and also the heavy metals associated with the whole e-waste sector. So as one of the panelists has already covered on the health impacts of or the critical components in the e-waste, like I would like to focus some of the idea around that how persistent organic pollutants and the materials containing these POPs and UPOPs and the heavy metals causes different types of diseases with the people associated with the handling of the e-waste, such as liver damage and the DNA damage. And also these elements, toxic elements, are carcinogenic, causing cancers, and also damaging kidney and other health aspects. So people who are associated with the unscientific method of recycling and the technologies, they get exposed to these type of diseases because of the handling of this e-waste. And basic idea is that UNDP is also like working in that. We have an experience on the working on the plastics for a long period of time with the private sector on the material recycling facility and the recycling of plastics, but also on the social and economic aspect associated with the women especially and the workers associated with the handling of the plastics. So taking from that background, we UNDP has partnered with Ministry of Electronics and Ministry of Environment Forest on this particular initiative, which will be a 5-year program. And how we are going to implement this project is not focusing on the policy and institutional strengthening aspects, but also on the on-ground implementation with some of the pilots, demonstration solutions, which we can cover and which can be replicable and scalable with the various sectors and players in the e-waste management sector. So there are total 5 key themes in this particular program. Member Secretary has mentioned about the inventorization study. So we are also covering the nationwide inventory study for the quantitative as well as the qualitative aspects of the e-waste. And the second is the informal sector. Like India is dominated, like the e-waste sector is predominant by the informal sector players who are associated with the informality and exposed to various social health aspects. So our idea is not to eliminate the informal sector, but how we can channelize this informal sector with the formal recycling process, and how we can take the leverage of their experience, their expertise in terms of mobilizing and the collection of the e-waste, various e-waste, and how that can be connected with the formal sectors, but also providing some kind of financial incentives in terms of various financial models, which we'll be discovering and getting implemented with this particular program. The third component is on the reduction of the various hazardous chemicals. So there is a ROHS reduction of hazardous substances provision in the rules, in the e-waste management rules, and how we can strengthen with the national partner SPCB and the Ministry of Environment in terms of setting up laboratory and strengthening that provision with the producers. So that is on the prevention control on the POPs, UPOPs, and the mercury, which is controlled through the Minamata Convention. How we can address that aspect. So that is the idea. Like the Minamata Convention covers the mercury control and improvement, but the Stockholm Convention talks about the POPs and UPOPs, how we can control it. And also we are covering not only the downstream part, like how we can upgrade and improve the infrastructure of the recyclers through transfer of technologies from the Center of Excellence and other technological institutions and the research institution, but also how we can maximize the outputs, the wealth associated with the e-waste in terms of recovery of various metals, as well as the in strengthening of EPR provisions, working closely with the producers also. And there is also one aspect, how we can convert this particular linear supply chain or the linear waste management, but also on the circularity, that how we can recover the critical raw materials such as lithium, as mentioned by Lucía also in her presentation, that lithium and the various critical raw materials, which is basically located in a particular territory, and the mining is very critical for this particular e-mobility sector. So how the recovered lithium and other key materials can be associated with the circularity chain. So that is the whole idea. This is the 5-year program funded by GEF, Global Environmental Facility.
So Ankit, in light of today's discussion, especially small devices, almost all of small devices today contain a very tiny small, lithium pack. And we run 2 recycling units today, and we are finding it, and not just we, I mean, I can say it, on behalf of most organizations across the world, extracting these tiny cells or any things which contain critical raw materials is becoming so challenging. and cost prohibitive. So first of all, this whole misnomer that waste is wealth honestly backfires, because in many cases, not in many cases, in most cases, if done well, no, it's a cost. So I've been fairly, vocal about this fact that, we have, for some reason, everyone assumes there is crazy amount of wealth in waste. No, if done well, it's a cost and it needs to be allocated well. And that's the whole purpose of bringing in EPR at a country level, that how do we bring in the right amount of financing to drive this. So, in your project, do you see a very specific focus emerging on something like this, where small products, I would like to really pick it up from Lucia. I did not have the numbers till today, but if 1/3 of the e-waste is now small IT or very small electronic devices, then we are talking of a massive chunk. And this is almost impossible to recycle using traditional methods or using even existing machineries that are available globally. So, how does one look at something like this? Because this is going to become, from what I see, one of the biggest challenges in our age, because neither do we have the machinery, nor the equipments, nor knowledge to manage this.
Yeah. So yes, so such as like the Global Environmental E-Waste Monitor report, which came in 2024, talks about the constituent of the various metals as well as the other materials, plastics and others. So roughly about 50% is the metals, and it covers about more than 30 elements in the e-waste supply chain. For the small equipment, it becomes very critical how we can at least improve the collection efficiency, and also to focus or prioritize our action on some of the elements which can be recovered. So there are many elements which cannot be recovered from the conventional recycling technology, and their technologies are also evolving. Like for the lithium in case, it is still evolving in terms of producing the lithium in which is cost competitive in terms of if we talk about that, it is easily available in the market at a lesser cost than the recovering the lithium from the e-waste supply chain. It will be evolving, but yeah, we can keep focus. Like we cannot target all the 30 elements for all the equipments, but yes, we can focus like the iron, aluminium, copper, which has the recovery potential of 60%, but on the other hand, on the contrary, zinc and other elements are having very less recovery potential, which is roughly 4%. And the platinum groups and the precious metals has the recovery potential of about 20%. So that is the data we are handling with, and with the data backing, we can have the infrastructure.
Yeah. So Ankit, the limited point that I like to mention is, the numbers that you are saying are valid when we are able to dismantle a product and get access to the battery. The challenge is even access to these small components is becoming a nightmare with the very small products. So, and the sizes are so small. So the whole approach of recycling will also need to evolve as we go forward. And it may be a very interesting proposition to see if, as a part of this project, one can look at these small IT equipments, because unlike large equipments, their behavior is very different. Even mobile phones, I'm now keeping out from this list of small equipments, because even smaller than what mobile phones are. And they are posing a new threat. But thank you for giving us an overview of what you are intending to, and really looking forward to working in all possible ways.
Yes, certainly.
I'd now like to involve Saurabh into this meeting. Saurabh, sorry for keeping you on hold for such a long time. So Saurabh, if you can broadly share, you represent a very large civil society movement, a movement which has focused on solving the problem at scale, not just on one societal challenge, but many. I hope you are there, Saurabh.
I'm there, Pranshu. Good afternoon.
Yeah, hi.
Actually, due to some upward opportunity, let's see what I'm doing right now. So
your voice is very muddled up. Saurabh, your voice is very muddled up.
We're not able to hear
I'm
you.
audible. I'm audible.
Would it be possible to use another
mic?
Mic, yes.
Hello. I'm audible.
Would it be possible to use another mic?
Okay. Allow me 2 minutes. I'll try to reconnect.
Sure. Yeah. Till that time, I think I'll continue our discussion. So there are a few things, and Vijay sir, I'll also like to invite you. So some of the questions which are, which have cropped up, and I'll also look up what has. Yeah. So one of the things that is coming up is the focus on collection systems and how do we make it super easy for people. And while we all keep, we discuss this, but in reality, when I talk and do a dipstick survey, even with all the efforts, do not know what to do with the type of e-waste that they have. So Ankit, anything that you see on this front, how can we solve this? Like making it easy for people is really required some momental effort. Almost every place where we can buy a device needs to be turned into a collection center. And we are really struggling, even after. So we run a program nowadays on retail where we engage all types of retail, whether it is mom and pop retail, general retail, organized retail, in programs. But we find it very, very challenging for the change to happen. And essentially making it a very simple value proposition so that anyone can go anywhere and drop. But yeah, so any suggestions from you, any things that you are seeing in this context?
Yeah, on that part.
Yeah, I don't know where is the background noise coming from, but yeah, Ankit.
Yeah, on that part, yes, it is quite like lots of awareness is required for the consumers, for the customers to know about their products, what like the rapid utilization of the products, and and also on the extension, like the lifespan of these products have also reduced because of the technological obsolescence of the product. Like it has reduced from 20 to 10 years for the large equipments, for the refrigerators, for the air conditioners, but also for the small equipments, it get technologically obsolete in 2 or 3 years maximum. So that is there that we like as consumer has to be aware about. Like there is a lot of scope to make aware the customers on the repairability part and the reuse part, and also on the from the climate perspective, that how we can how we can communicate this message that the products contain some of the carbon footprint as well, like in terms of using this particular equipment, but also how they can at the end of life stage, how they can send these products to their nearest recycling centers, through nearest collection center, and get the benefits like in terms of social health aspects, which is there while if it is disposed of in a very unsound or any unsound or any end of life like disposal at the landfill stage. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you, Ankit. I'd like to bring in Saurabh now. Saurabh, I hope your mic works better now. We would really like to hear, from a Rotary point of view, how do you think, this sort of a movement can be strengthened?
Yeah, good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes, much better now. Yeah, Saurabh, can you continue, please? Saurabh, we are unable to hear you at all.
Yeah. Am I audible now?
Yes.
Yeah, very good afternoon. Yes, sir. All the
Sir, we're not able to hear you.
No, I think Kirti, um, I don't think Saurabh is in a
Yes.
space where we can have a discussion. So let's just continue without him now.
Yes.
So are there any questions from the audience? I don't see many. So there is a request from Daman about the WEEE registration link. Can you please post it?
Sure.
Yeah, so please post it here. And if there are any further questions from the audience, we can take it up with the speakers here.
Mr. Vijay has joined in as well.
Okay. So, sir, one question, Mr. Vijay. So, one of the big challenges which is starting to emerge is and we were just discussing this earlier, is on recycling aspects, and that recycling is becoming more and more complex, especially in light of these small scale equipments. Moreover, collection is becoming a challenge, and even collection is not even discussed in the present version of the e-waste tools. At a state level, sir, what is it that can be done to drive both collection in a much significant way? I know Rajasthan State Pollution Control Board has, for example, set up collection drives, has enabled mobile van collection in many cities. But do you see something more which can be done to drive this further?
Vijay, sir, are you able to hear us?
I think there is some challenge that we are facing today. So what I would do is we can maybe in that case, considering Saurabh is unable to join, maybe we will let's wait for a few seconds, and otherwise we can wait for a couple of questions if they are coming up. Okay, if not, then what I would do is I'll just like to, for all audience, I'll just like to say a few things before we end our session today. So, like, Lucia mentioned, e-waste is the fastest growing waste stream of the world. Today is International E-Waste Day. We would request all of you to find ways in which you can encourage, inspire, enroll people to be a part of this movement so that all of us can, and the good thing is it is Diwali time. So in light of this Diwali time, maybe we should look at cleaning up all of our drawers, finding all that small, tiny equipments which are hidden out there somewhere, something that is there, but not in our purview. So bringing it in our purview, ensuring that we collect it, find the right recycler, ask the right questions, and dispose of our e-waste. So that is very, very critical. And it is not just critical to act on our own, but what is also important is for us to encourage and inspire others to take the same action. I have seen the growth of how International E-Waste Day has started as a small initiative by WEEE Forum almost 7 years back, and is today a day of international prominence in almost all countries of the world. So India today, for example, is celebrating it in a very interesting way across. So we would really encourage all of you to participate, find ways of creating more and more knowledge and awareness around this Waste Day. And if there are any messages from you, Ankit, or Member Secretary, sir, then please share it with the audience before we close the evening. We close our event today. Ankit, anything from you for everyone? Your last closing remarks?
Yeah, from my side, everyone has a responsibility to manage our equipment, manage our footprint in a very sound and environmentally sound manner. So yeah, everyone has a responsibility. As a consumer, as a society, we have to take actions towards like where our equipments are going and how we can responsibly dispose of. So to avoid any adverse impact on climate, human health, and environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Ankit. Sir, Vijay sir, and any last message for all the audience?
Yeah, it's very important day and should not be remembered only on October 14. We need to do it on every day. And as we know that our consumption is like so high that everyone want to keep so many gadgets and all. And individually, the people or the public should get more awareness, and the minimum usage is more important. And the day itself very clearly saying that about the hand. So we should sometimes believe the system which is created or the ecosystem created, and it's basically a win-win situation only. So suppose you are keeping a metal for a very long time, 10 years also, and after 10 years, the value is again get depreciated only. So at one point of time, it should come out of your home or your units or any, it could be any government or any private agencies also. So there should be continuous day, and the combined efforts of the PCB, state government, recycler, these are very, very important aspect to look into. And there should be a continuous dialogue with these agencies also. And we should continue like need not to engage every month, but once in 3 months we have to engage, and what are the challenges we are facing, what the SPCB is facing, and what the government is facing, what the recyclers are facing. Then only we can look into the gray areas where we can give more energy also. And
Sure.
it's a very, I thank Karo Sambhav for giving this opportunity. And as I told, it's a win-win situation. Otherwise, it will be no win situation. So this is a simple line I want to conclude here. And with the combined efforts only, I think I remember the Mother Teresa as well. I can do, you cannot, you can do, I cannot. Together we can do great things. So for dealing any sort of pollution, any environment conservation issue, this is the underlying principle we have to work on, so that we can achieve the goals. So once again, thanks to the Karo Sambhav for giving me the opportunity. Looking forward to work with in some other programs also. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Vijay sir. Thank you, Ankit, for participating and being on the panel. Unfortunately, our third speaker couldn't join because of some connectivity issues, but it was really interesting to have the conversation today. And we would take this discussion further and make sure that more and more activities are happening at a grassroots level. We are also launching this week our radio program in over 30 cities. Where the messaging, especially we do this every year during the Diwali time. And the idea is that once people clean up their homes, they don't put the waste back in their drawers, which generally tends to happen. So many state pollution control boards have supported that program. So including Rajasthan, thank you, sir, for that. So I'd like to end this conversation today and wish you all again happy International E-Waste Day. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.